Hey everyone! For this video I wanted to try something different. Again. So I got this figure casting compound powder the other day and now it is the time that I'm going to use it. If you open the bucket you get an instruction manual in many different languages and a bag which contains the actual powder. I figured I should open it beforehand but let the powder inside the bag. I didn't want to spill anything by throwing it into the bucket. I also turned the edge of the bag inside out to make it easier to reach the inside. I'm attempting to create some fake sweets. The molds I'm going to use are these cute mini cupcake ones, which are made out of silicone, and this one, which is also made out of silicone, and it is usually supposed to be used for chocolate pralines. To make a cute little icing for the cupcakes, I take this fine structure paste. To apply the paste, I'm also going to use a nozzle or spout set you would use for normal baking. I got this one new from Amazon, just like the other stuff, except for the molds. The silicone molds that are in this set are quite cute, but I think too big for my liking. And they came with some dirty spots. I have no idea what these black dots could be, so I recommend to make sure to clean everything beforehand if you're going to create some food-related art with it. And I would also recommend to not use these supplies with food again if you once used it with any kind of art material. There was this tiny tree for cleaning up some stuff and some more random stuff to use the silicone bags, I guess. Some disposable plastic bags, which came with a single black hair. Oh my. This thingy with which you can stab stuff, I guess. And several plastic dividers for the box. I guess they are there to store the piping nibs. Completely assembled, I can't sort every nib in there individually, and all the other stuff has to be stored elsewhere. I won't use these dividers at all and put everything back off camera. Okay, let's start the project. The instruction manual says that I have to follow a weigh ratio of 4 parts of the powder to 1 part of very cold water. So I choose 100 grams to 25 grams. The instruction manual also says that I have to put the water into the powder slowly to avoid lumps. I always read this advice in baking receipts as well, but if I do so, there are always lumps there anyways, plus it is more difficult to stir the substance with not enough water. So that's why I always dump everything in all at once. Yeah, and then I stir as long as necessary to turn it into a smooth liquid and pour it as quickly as possible into the mold, because this stuff starts to harden very quickly. So, due to the instruction, it should be possible to color in the compound powder with some pigments beforehand. But as I don't own any pigments yet, I figured I could try to use some acrylic paint instead and find out what happens. I was going for some strawberry chocolate color. Well, I did find out that I needed way more time to stir everything. So the soup turned very goopy very quickly, but I don't know exactly if it is just because of the time I spent on stirring that it went so goopy, or if the acrylic paint did something to the reaction that was happening there. Nevertheless, it is way more difficult to fill in the molds precisely with this consistency. Yeah, well, by tapping the mold down, I hoped that every corner is going to be filled nevertheless. Good. After an hour, I demolded every piece. The hearts turned out very pretty. The powder got into every detail of the design and I could get them out of the mold very easily. The colored in hearts got a cool color, I think, and there are even some darker red streaks that look like strawberry syrup. But there were many holes on the back side of them and I realized it too late that I could have simply scraped away what spilled over the edges with a spatula. Well, next time. Although I think the color turned out quite nice, sadly not all the details in the tiny dots were there anymore. And on the edges there are air bubbles. In direct comparison, the hut without the acrylic paint turned out perfect. So yeah, that might be the reason you are supposed to color this powder with pigment powder and not with acrylic paint. But I think I might try it again. Well, I'm going to use these strawberry hearts anyways. I'm pretty sure some more acrylic paint is going to fix most of the issues. The muffins all turned out absolutely fine. No air pockets or whatsoever. I'm pretty happy with them too. Off camera, I decided to make some more. And I also wanted to try out another mold that I had on hand with this tiny cute little stars there. But this one, unlike the others, is completely made out of hard plastic, since this is a mold for ice cubes. So, getting them out of there was, yeah, let's say a little bit of a struggle. Some just pop out on their own, but others were stuck there. Since the hard plastic would not move at all, if I tried to push against it, I had no chance to get them out of there just by hand. I tried to get in there with a toothpick, but no. So only violence could help me here. Finally, the hammer got the job done, luckily. Well, although I really like the outcome of the stars, I think they look very cute and they have a very smooth surface, using silicone molds is way less stressful. Anyways, since I want to create some delicious looking sweets, I thought that pastel colors would fit the aesthetics of that. That's why I mix a lot of white with all the bright colors that I have on hand. By mixing in a lot of white, the colors turned out more opaque as well, so I just had to cover everything with 2 coats of paint instead of more. This acrylic paint though is supposed to be pastel right out of the bottle. So I thought I could just use it as is, but it turns out that the manufacturers of this pastel colors understood the word pastel as translucent. As you can see, it has some kind of candy vibe to it, I must admit, but I don't like how the color looked like. I also couldn't apply it evenly. Yeah, and to create an even surface, I sure had to put several layers on top of the next. And I really didn't want that. So I decided to put up these pastel color paints with white as well. As soon as I colored everything, they all got a coat of Mod Podge on top of them to seal the paint in. And I left a thicker coat on top of the tiny stars to make it look like there would be some sugar glaze on top of them. Next, I want to color in the chocolate hearts. I want them to look like as if they are 3 different flavors: strawberry, vanilla and dark chocolate. To make the details pop and make everything cohesive, I mixed all the colors on them equally to highlight them. For that I used my dotting tool. Underneath the gummy-like looking star sweets, I painted them off camera in a darker tone of their original color. Don't worry, the Mod Podge is going to dry completely transparent, unless you don't apply it too thick. These strawberry hearts are going to get a fake chocolate and syrup painting in their details as well. But before that, I had to sand down their backsides. After the sanding process, they were very smooth, but the color turned out very dull and scratchy. Don't worry, we will cover everything up with delicious looking chocolate paint and nobody will ever notice. For the syrup imitation, I used some red metallic acrylic paint and of course my dotting tool. Then I switched to the dark chocolate color. And some white chocolate color to get some variety as well. I made sure to cover the back sides of the hearts with a quite thick coat of paint. That looks juicy, delicious, and it hides every mistake that was made. Some details got a little golden color to make them look like special pralines. Okay, now let's head on to the most important part of the cupcakes, the icing. Therefore, I set up all the cupcakes and to mix the colors I grab some glass plates. To create a typical cupcake cream form, I use a metal nozzle that is shaped like this. I use this fine structure paste that is supposed to be used with acrylic paints. And to mix in the colors, I grabbed a tiny butter knife from the dollar store. The cling film is there so I can arrange the colors in lines close to each other. I decided to combine white with neon pink and neon yellow. And some shiny color matching decoration sprinkle stuff to put it on top of the icing is very important too. Since the structure paste itself is white, the neon colors are going to turn out pastel, like the cupcakes are. And I don't have to mix in white paint to color in the white part, so that saves paint and time. As soon as I have arranged the colored paste in rows next to each other, I can carefully roll up the cling film. I was very careful with this, so I don't accidentally mix up the colors. Cut one end off and put the whole thing into the piping bag. Then I just pushed and swirled every cupcake that I made. I repeated all these steps for all the other colors as well. To apply the sprinkles, I used some tweezers and arranged everything while the fake icing was still soft. As soon as the paste is dry, it hardens and won't change its form anymore, so you could safely touch it. think the cupcakes already look very cute as they are now, but there is one little detail missing. Some cupcake paper cups or tulip wraps. To make some myself, I took one cupcake without icing and put it upside down on a paint tube that has the same diameter as the cupcake. So the ends of the paper won't get smooshed during the folding process. Then I grab a square piece of crepe paper and place it in the middle of the cupcake. By grabbing the sides, I can fold it like a triangle. Doing that all around creates this cute shape. Since this crepe paper is very delicate, it wouldn't stay in place without the help of some glue. I could have left this like is. Instead, I grabbed a toothpick and twirled the edges around it to curl them down. I think this looks cute. So I repeated these steps to all of the cupcakes again. The last thing I wanted to do for this project was to give all that gummy stars some sugar sprinkles on top. For that I took some gloss varnish, applied a thick layer on top of them and spread out some beads that exactly look like sugar on top of them. And added some more gloss varnish on top. After everything dried completely, I was finally done. I arranged the sweets on a cake tier, but I can also imagine them to be some doll accessories or some tiny presents you can hand out to your friends and family for decoration, or use it just for your own decoration as you like. With that being said, I really hope you liked what you've seen. Have a nice day, and till the next video.